and subscribe right now, and this doggo will teach you how to walk on water. Askreddit. You suddenly gain the ability to pause time. What's the first thing you do? Think of snappy comebacks. I like it. Zawarudo. Thinks to self. Time flows once more. Yo mama. I would finish my homework, so I don't have to do it when I'm hanging with friends and don't have to stress over studying. Heck, I could even do it when the teacher is collecting the homework or passing it the test. Pause time and steal the teacher's answer sheet. In a test, pause time and change the answers when they're getting marked. Pause time just before everyone opens the paper. Swap that paper out for a simpler one you've prepared in advance. Teacher is confused they handed out the wrong paper, but you get top marks and everyone else in the class also does well. Everyone's a winner. Pause time. And if you weren't given the ability to unpause time, also the last thing you'll do. But that would have been the ability to stop time, not pause it though, right? I mean, it could pause for 900,000 years though. Time is paused, you are not. Food doesn't rot, but for some reason you still get hungry. You spend 900,000 years eating all of the food you can find to survive. Suddenly time starts up again and all the planet's food has been consumed. Since you are not paused and still get hungry, that would imply that your normal bodily functions are unaffected by the pause. So you would continue to age and eventually die after 60 or so years. Some stores would notice a sudden sharp decrease in inventory and a dead body of a 100-year-old man would appear somewhere, but otherwise the world would never even notice. Go steal money from a casino or something like that. Shit, now I want to watch Clockstoppers. Remember that movie? I was a kid when that movie came out. My parents had a friend who had that exact model watch, and it blew my little kid mind. Why steal it when you can win it? Big purchases, here I come. Exactly. High stakes, no limit Texas Hold'em is pretty easy if you know everyone's cards. Problem is, you'd erratically move every time you stop time, as it would be impossible to move to exactly the same position, plus your opponent's cards might perceptibly move. Better to do something that won't have people observing so as not to raise suspicion. If you start arguing with the physics of stopping time, you wouldn't be able to do anything at all. You wouldn't be able to see the cards as the photons that reflected of it would be suspended in midair. Everything would be black. When you unfreeze time, the perfect vacuum you created by walking and pushing air out of that space would collapse and send massive shockwaves through the air that would blow everything around it away. You'd die of asphyxiation as the air molecules would be suspended, unable to move or act. Not to mention there would be the rules of what does and doesn't move with you. Does the earth still revolve around the sun? If yes, did your velocity relative to the sun also stop? If that is the case, how does the time stop mechanic know what relative velocity is caused by what? If I jump in the air while time stopping, does that stop as well? And if time being stopped doesn't affect your motion, you'd fly of the earth and out of the galaxy at 800,000 kilometers per hour because you didn't stop moving, but the galaxy did. Procrastinate. And I think most people would as well. Maybe not right off the bat, but after a few uses they would start. Then you have an issue of when do you stop? Catch up on sleep. To the rest of the world I'd look like I was aging at twice the speed everyone else was, on account of how often I'd abuse that power. Usually in fiction, freezing time prevents aging. I'm glad you mentioned that this scenario of time freezing is fiction. If you paused time, moved somewhere else in the room and then unpaused, you could convince everyone that you could teleport. Yeah, that'd be cool. I've spent a lot of time daydreaming about all the cool tricks I could do to impress people if I had this power. I've thought that ducking with big name magicians would be amazing. I was thinking Penn and Teller. Test to see how physics work while paused. Can I move heavy objects? What about throwing things? I suppose gravity wouldn't come into effect, so it would be easier to move heavy objects without it making it harder. I also guess it would be super weird to have clothes on, because they'd be stuck in the air and dragged through it by you. If gravity wouldn't come into effect, does it mean I can fly? I guess not, because if you can pause time and still do stuff, that means your whole body isn't on pause, so gravity would affect you. Then again, I can't really test this. Just like my dad, you destroyed my hopes and dreams. I would pause time in a restaurant and then braid every long-haired person's locks except one. I'd braid even my own hair, but leave only one random person unbraided. For some reason this is something that I have been thinking about for a lot of time before I go to sleep. I don't know why. Not gonna lie, I think it's hilarious. Everybody would just look at the unbraided person and be like, "Goddamn it, Steve." Pause time. Can't unpause. Wife finds 78-year-old corpse where her 32-year-old husband was sitting moments before. I'd probably write a note explaining what happened and then Sudoku way before waiting for a natural death. Jerk off whenever I wanted to. There's something better than jerking off when you can pause time. Catch up on your Bible studies, friend. Grab the nearest steamroller and crush that street rachetero. Zawarudo. Toki Wotoma. I would abuse the hell out of that, but I'd also try to help others with it to even out the bad, because you cannot give me the ability to essentially do whatever the hell I want without anything being capable of stopping me, and expect me to just be a perfect little angel with it. Perhaps you can do it like Quantum Break, where you have the ability to unfreeze those around you. I think it just works however you want it to. Any superpower that already defies reality and physics shouldn't be bound to the same laws it already breaks. Pause time. Walk to the post-groping side of the TSA checkpoint. Start time. And then get shot at by the TSA agents for teleporting in an airport terminal. Do TSA people carry guns? No, they don't. They are not actual law enforcement. Gets shot anyways. SWAT all the wasps. Set all the wasps on the planet on fire. Breaking news. Everything bursts into flames as all wasps are burning. More at 7. I would train my musician skills for years in pause time, reaching a professional level. It'd be pretty hilarious to play an instrument for the first time and be among the greatest of all time. When you unpause, all the sound is released at once, blowing out eardrums and slash your widows for miles around. This is how Beethoven lost his hearing. Rob a bank or something with my unpaused power tools. Who said you could unpause anything other than yourself without everything else becoming unpaused? If you have them in your hand, they are a part of you when you pause time. I'd make a Japanese student's mom sick so that him, his grandpa, his friend from school, an Arab, a French dude, and a pug would come all the way to Egypt to try and kill me. This makes absolute sense. Look behind you. Nanny? Teleports behind you. Nothing personal, kid. Walks up to someone about to open a can of soda. Pause. Shake can. Unpause. Pause time. Run around my hometown and make life a little better. Catch that remote someone was about to drop. Move the card about to crash. Direct that murderer's bullet back at him. We could use one single day without all the bad crap in this life. Turning the bullet around probably won't change the direction of its movement, but other than that, that's super wholesome. Yeah, couldn't turn them around, have to grab it and place it right behind his head facing the same direction. That'd be the most confusing shit to investigate as a police detective. I kind of want a novel about this now. Easy. It would be Sudoku by gunshot to the back of the head. It happens all the time in Russia. I break into Tiffany's at midnight. Do I go for the vault? No. I go for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She tells me to stop. It's her father's business. She's Tiffany. I say no. We make love all night. In the morning the cops come, and I escape in one of their uniforms. I tell her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I don't trust her. Besides, I love the cold. 30 years later I get a postcard. I have a son. And he's the chief of police. This is where the story gets interesting. I tell Tiffany to meet me in Paris by the Trocadero. She's been waiting for me all these years. She's never taken another lover. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stash the chandelier. Keep it paused forever. But I have a dentist appointment next Tuesday. And you always will. Forever. Pause time, then start panicking as I realize that light itself has been paused, and I go blind, unless I walk into the light and desperately try to find my way around. Pedantic types have the worst superpowers. You've been visited by IT Doggo. This doggo will turn off your internet unless you comment please. Anything else, just not the internet.